All right, I think we are live. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, and welcome back to the Liminal Branch Library, to the Archive in the Seams. I am your archivist and librarian, Mordio Crow, and with me...
Hi, I'm Nova Minakawa, your artistic rendition of a person. We're playing Daggerheart today, a playtest.
I'm excited.
Can you tell people what Daggerheart is if they don't know?
Yes, of course. So Daggerheart is Critical Role's longer form campaign targeting tabletop RPG system, right? Critical Role has come out with two different RPG systems. This one's built towards, well, campaign play, right? So it's built basically not what we're doing with it today, where we're trying to get this into a one-shot, maybe a two-shot, depending on how things go. But basically the types of games that they stream, right? So I'm very excited because I love playing new systems. I love trying out different systems. So just seeing Critical Role, them being so popular and all that, come out with their own, that's certainly different in a good number of ways from where they started. It's exciting. It's fun.
Yeah, I'm happy to try out different systems as well. And I hope more people, this opens up more people to looking at different systems that are not D&D.
Yeah, it's true. There's a whole library of different systems out there, you know? Each one good for its own, well, most of them good for their own specific niches, right? So hopefully this one finds its own niche, but it is a playtest. It's also an early version, and while I have read through the entire 200-something page manuscript, I may not have retained all of that 200-something page manuscript, so there's always the chance that I'll mess up a rule, you'll mess up a rule, or something similar. But it's a playtest. We have it here as reference, and we'll do the best we can.
Cool. Do you want to get started?
Yeah, so it's you and I here today, but while I will be GMing, you'll be our protagonist as we explore a far-off corner of Isla Marta. Now, Niko, it's not uncommon for a man like yourself, a pirate of Oceano Morocoro, the southern sea of Isla Marta, to find himself underwater. What?
I said, oh.
Yeah. From diving down to fish in a reef to being thrown overboard when making a particularly dangerous journey during a storm, you've experienced the ocean at its most serene and its most chaotic. Right now is the latter. Pain alarms up your arm and into your head, while burning in your lungs warn you that you didn't have the time to take a breath before crashing into the water. Debris is sinking around you as you struggle for air. It's impossible to tell which pieces are from your ship and which ones are from the other. Now I'm assuming Niko is trying to get to air. And
that would be the natural thing to do.
That would be the natural thing to do. As he tries to swim upward, the currents are wild and strong. And on top of that, you're not getting the purchase that you're used to. You're not pulling yourself along. As you flail, you can clearly see the absence of one of your arms, freshly severed before the fall. Blood clouds into the water and is whipped by the currents, but you don't have long to look at it as the sky above starts to grow dark. The sounds of battle get louder around you, carried by the water like you're still in the middle of it all. There's an explosion, a crash, a splintering of wood, and then a soft scratching sound. Wood being carved. You're breathing normally, not struggling, not sudden gasp for fresh air. Rain strikes stone somewhere nearby, and when your eyes open, you find yourself not submerged, not floating, but in a well-lit cavern. Daylight drifts down through holes in the cave roof, while a small fire casts dancing shadows through it. Stalactites and stalagmites drip into shallow pools, and there's a well-trodden footpath through the cave. You're like laid out on a stone, I don't know if I want to call it a table, because it's not quite purposefully made, but you know, that sort of shape. You're awake, and you're alive.
Is there anybody around?
As you get up and look, before you see a person, you see signs of habitation. There's a pile of cloths in one corner on a similar naturally formed slab as the one that you were just on, where it looks like someone might sleep. There's, lines where clothes are hung. When you search for the source of that scratching sound, you do see a person. Someone underneath one of the openings in the ceiling, where light's pouring down, back towards you, and you can see a bunch of wood shavings around this person.
I wonder if I can, I kind of blearily open my eyes, look around, and once I sort of gain my senses, I jolt awake. Where am I? Who are you? Oh my god, where's my arm?
As the questions spill out of you, and before you get an answer from the person, and you say, "Where is my arm?" and you look down, it's, I don't want to say healed, but it looks like it's been tended to. The edge where the cut was is still a bit raw to the touch, but it's not bleeding, right? It's sensitive, but it's not actively causing injuries. There's also an odd array of what looks like scars, puncture wounds, maybe an inch from the edge of where your arm was severed, in a circle around your arm.
Oh, so I got bit? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just sort of gingerly touch the area.
Like the end, or like one of the punctures?
The punctures, yeah.
When you touch the puncture, you feel something move underneath and inside.
No. Ew! What? Okay, I probably start scratching and digging to see if there's anything there. I'm a little freaked out.
As you start scratching and digging, the answers to your initial set of questions, offered but then distracted by the injury and the sign of it, float to you from the person carving. He doesn't stop carving at any point while speaking, but his voice is, well, perhaps not warm. It is welcoming, right? There's no aggression, or there's a certain level of caretaker in his voice, right?
Okay.
I don't know if you're blessed or cursed. Isla Marta must love you dearly to bring you to me with an injury like yours. Or maybe she hates you to banish you to this accursed island in particular. You asked where you were. You're at the edge of the storm. Come, you can see it from here if you'd like.
I do not stop scratching, but his voice sort of distracts me from it. lucky or unlucky? I like look down at my arm, and then I like go over to see the edge of the storm. Something tells me it's probably unlucky.
At that, there's a bit of a chuckle from the man, and you look out and see essentially what we're looking at here, right? Rocks, shapes in the distance, which is perhaps odd to others, but you understand how the storm works. Daylight was filtering in through the cave from elsewhere, but when you face forward out this particular exit of the cave, you just see endless storm. It's the dry season right now. For most of Isla Marta, rain is a rarity this time of year. And probably, I don't know, a few hundred feet behind you, there's clear skies. But out this way, nothing but torrential downfall, raging waves, and eventually just where the horizon becomes a solid fog, right, as the rain becomes that intense. The man agrees with your assessment. Yes, cursed perhaps, but...
Whoa, I never said cursed, buddy. I said unlucky. What are
Oh.
you saying, I'm cursed?
You might be.
Just my luck.
Well, maybe I can help you turn it around.
You found me, right? What about my crew? Anybody else?
You're the only one who washed up near my workshop here. But there are some easlets nearby. They often collect rubble from shipwrecks. If anyone else from your ship washed ashore here, it's likely there, and it's not too far from here.
I scan sort of the debris to see if I recognize my ship, and also how much of the ship, if anything. Like, if it's just like a piece, maybe that's not so bad, but if it's like a big portion, that that'll temper my expectations.
Yeah, when you look out into the water, you don't see any big pieces, and as you're looking for it, in fact, the biggest piece, one maybe half the size of you, is what's currently being worked by this woodworker. Like, he has it out in front of him, and he's carving something from it.
Ah, yes. What is he carving so suspiciously?
It looks like just a smooth, narrow, I don't want to call it a slat of wood, but like, strip he's pulling out of it. And beside him, you notice a wooden and stone arm.
Oh.
He finishes prying that piece of wood from the bit of your ship and places it into a weighting latch on the arm. This debris carried you this far. I thought perhaps taking a little of it with you would be good luck.
Well, that's mighty kind of you. I'm Niko, and I reach out to grab for a handshake, but it's my missing arm, and I go, put out my other arm. What's your name?
He holds out his arm, and it's when he does that you realize he also has one arm. And perhaps you were distracted by looking out at the sea itself or at the wood. He's also wearing a mask askew, one with interwoven metal scales. You can kind of see a wiry white beard underneath, and just like a little bit of a peak of like a weathered cheek and part of his eye. But he holds out his good hand to take your good hand.
Hopefully it's opposite hands, or else we can't
It's
handshake.
a little awkward. We'll say it is for this, for the sake of this. Before I came here, those who would visit my workshop called me Hierro Viejo. You can do the same.
Hierro Viejo, huh?
Yes, the name in the Maria tongue would translate to old iron.
But you're working with wood.
Oh, I do all sorts of crafts. And you'd recognize the mask that he's wearing. It's that this man's a priest of the demigod of crafting.
Oh.
Of all sorts of artisans and stoneworking, woodworking, painting, all that kind of stuff, right? The scale pattern on the mask is very distinctive amongst the various faiths.
Does this? Oh, that's very interesting. Does this arm look ready? Like, is it finished?
It looks ready, although it doesn't look fully hand-like on the end. Mm-hmm. It has more of a multi-pronged grip, almost more like a bird's talon, right?
Oh.
Something designed to reach out, grab, and hold, rather than be used like a human appendage.
Well, human appendages grab and hold. So
sorry, you know what I mean, though. It's not quite as versatile.
Yeah.
I guess is what I'm trying to say. Right?
Kind of like one of those claws that you get.
Right. I mean, a little bit more dexterous than just a simple pinch claw.
Yeah, right.
But still non-standard human hand. But otherwise, it seems to be relatively intact.
I sort of just point at it. Do you mind if I, try it on for size?
I hope you don't mind, but while you were unconscious, I took the liberty of resizing it for you. We're not too dissimilar in height, but... So I think I've got it right.
Well, hey, I'd love to try it on.
Yeah.
Thank you. This is a lot. And I try to fasten it on.
As you thank him and start to pick it up, he'll say, "Oh, think nothing of it. I don't need it. I've made myself that one and others before, others which have been lost to time. The Anatose of creations, Oya, he never let his single arm hold him back from working art. I don't intend to either. But you, if you're intending to leave this place, you'll likely need all the help you can get." And as he says that, you finally get the arm up to the point where it was severed. And when it gets close, you notice that the arm also has little, almost like puncture spots in it. All the same distance apart as your arm. And when you line up, little strands extend from the base of your arm, from the puncture wound. Well, what you assumed looked like a puncture wound, and they affix it to the wooden arm, and you can feel it as if it was your own.
I big shiver. That's ooh. Thank you.
It's unnerving the first few times, but it's woven from the finest anamoine that I've been able to find on this island. So it'll serve you well. There's nothing to fear.
Did you say Yamoine?
Anamoine.
Do I know about
blood.
That? Oh. Have I heard anything about this?
I think Niko would know. I don't think you'd need a roll for this in particular. You're a pirate. It's your job to know what's valuable when you're taking stuff. Anamoine is the magical plant life that grows on the island. Mythology says that it's the island's blood that seeps up into the plants and makes it magical, but that's the story, right? No one really puts much stock in it. Got it.
Okay, so it's not like monster parts. It's vegetation.
It's vegetation. Vegetation that's used to. Granted, there's not this setting does not have a flourishing magical items market, but those artistic magical works that do exist tend to use this plant life as what gives it their magic, right?
Cool. So, where exactly are we again? And how did you get here? You have not tried to get out of this place? Is that what you're telling me?
I came here on a raft. And no, I haven't tried to leave. I came here with purpose. I thought to look onto the storm wall and reflect and see what artwork came from such reflection.
Right.
Don't misunderstand me. I'm not one of those storm cultists. But I do think there is a terrifying beauty in the storm.
Right. That doesn't sound like a cultist at all. Nah, I'm joking. You saved my life. How can I complain?
Yeah,
but
you would
Sorry,
probably
go
say, like, if I was a cultist and I saved your life, you probably should still be thankful, yes.
Alright. Well, I'm assuming I feel okay.
Yeah, you feel...
all things considered.
Yeah, all things considered, you actually feel relatively okay. He seems to have treated the worst of your wounds, and now you have a prosthetic, which is already on your character sheet if you look. Right, like that's your grapple arm under your weapons and armor.
I'm opening it right now to take a look. I see it, grapple arm close.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll test it out, try it out.
Perhaps it's because of those magical fibers connecting it to your body, but you pick it up very naturally. Like, it does feel like an extension of you. Now, the rope's not as long as what you might expect on a normal grappling hook or anything, but it's very durable, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you got, I don't know, 10, 15 feet worth of, like, reach and grab and pull, and it's got good strength. Like, you feel pretty confident you could wield this with ease, either in combat or outside of it, after just a few attempts.
Cool. So, well, I hate to cut this short. I'll probably come back here in a bit if I don't find anything, but I really ought to try to see if anybody in my crew has survived.
Yes, the sooner the better. There are other people on the island, ones perhaps not as hospitable as I am. They do tend to patrol the islets where ships wash ashore for supplies, for valuables. I'm sure if anything else has arrived with you, they're in the middle of picking through it now. Yep, are you saying something? If so, you might be muted. I see your
yes,
mouth.
sorry. Well, I'd say I'd wait until the rain lets up, but that's not gonna happen anytime soon, so... Okay, well, I'll come back soon, hopefully.
You won't have to worry about the rain if you head out towards the islets. There's a small boat I take fishing sometimes. It's yours to borrow if you'd like. And you will, like, gesture off in a direction of the cave for you to go.
Mm-hmm. Well, much obliged. All right. I'm gonna head out and then start going.
All right. So, when you leave, it is pretty much exactly as he said. You find the boat, and where it's docked, the water is relatively calm. It's still in a cave, but one that opens out into the water. It's only a short row to an area where there's no rain at all. You can see the storm wall behind you, as well as the much larger island than the ones that you row up to. But the weather clears. There's plenty of shipwrecks, more than just what this artwork
Ooh.
shows. And birds are hanging out. The wind's going. It's actually a pretty nice, cool wind. So here, this
Wow.
is like, it's hard to believe that you were within sight of the storm in the other direction and then this way. It's relatively quiet, right? Just the birds cawing, the waves washing up against the rocks.
Yeah, that I'm sure this is not like super unfamiliar landscape to Niko, but it is still beautiful. Takes a moment to look it in, and then tries to scan amongst the wreckage.
Yeah, that sounds good. So I think for this, we'll have you roll for this for the first time, right? We're gonna get to our first roll of the game. The idea here being, sure, Niko could just take however long it takes to find everything there is to find, but as mentioned, there are other people here looking as well. So this is a matter of, can you find what you're looking for before anyone else? Or at the very least, can you notice those anyone else before they notice you, right? So I think we're going to do this is going to be an instinct roll, but before you roll, I think we're talking about just an 11 for noticing any threats before they notice you, but not necessarily finding any valuables or crew. But if you can get we'll say a 14, you can find something of valuable or crew member or whatever, something there is to find before that, right?
Got it. Is this like a D20 situation? What kind of...
So you can...
I know I can just click, but I'm just curious.
So this system uses, on the player side, 2d12, right?
Okay.
If the first d12, well, if we were playing in person, you would be recommended to have two different colors, because which d12 rolls higher than the other matters. For this scenario, I just have it coded up for this plugin, or for this module, to just whatever the first die is, that's what's called your hope die is, and the second one is your fear die. Generally speaking, you want your hope die to be higher than your fear die, but if they match, you get a critical success.
Got it. So there's no critical failures though, right?
There's no critical failures. That's correct.
All right. I need a 14. I got a +1 in instinct. Let's see. Ah, yeah.
18.
Wait, so it rolled with fear? Oh, fear
Yes.
was higher. I see.
Yes, so yeah, if we were to open up this little roll, which, excuse me while I tab to the Foundry browser just to do that for chat and people viewing, we can see the dice breakdown, and that the first d12 rolled lower than the second d12, which is why it results in a fear, and then 6 plus 11 is 17 plus 1 is 18. So you got success, but what it rolled with fear means is that either I can introduce, well, first I get a fear token, which I can use for all sorts of things from now until the end of the game. So I need to mark that down somewhere just for myself. I'm going to make a little note in a journal page, a little hidden journal page, just to say that I have one fear. And while I've done that, you still succeed. I could also introduce a complication, make it stressful in some way. There's a bunch of minor penalties I can give. It's basically the success with a complication, right? So,
Got it.
well, I think in this particular case, I'm going to use a more story-based complication a little bit down the line, rather than immediately inflict a stress on you or anything like that. So let me just... I think for this, you're going to find what you're looking for first, and we'll just loop back around to the fear. So, Niko, you're moving through this debris. This one's not your ship. That one's not your ship. This one's really old and looks like it's been completely picked through, but also not your ship. perhaps in some ways it's a little heartening how little debris there is, right? It's like, okay, maybe the whole ship didn't get destroyed. Maybe it's just part of it. Maybe you got unlucky. You were thrown from it during the battle, right? But you notice, I don't want to say it's a slab, but there's a couple of planks all affixed together, wedged in the shoreline, which look a bit more familiar, the make, the craftsmanship. And when you start heading over that way, you notice the shadow of a person lurking inside one of the other wrecks.
I'm assuming, I don't know, I rolled with fear, so I'm kind of fearful that is not a person that I know, but I will cautiously approach, perhaps.
There. So you cautiously move towards the person rather than the familiar ship piece, right?
Yeah, I mean, the piece is just a piece. It's not going to be useful to me unless it's like a weapon, I guess, or a person.
As you make your way closer to the silhouette, are you like making yourself known, or are you sneaking up?
Well, the old man has made me wary of other people, so I'm going to sneak up best I can.
All right, I'm not gonna double roll you here since you succeed on the previous one with such a high roll. So I'll say that you notice this person is like, they're in the dark shadows of another wreck, right? So they're somewhat obscured. You can't see all their features at first, but first thing you do get as you get closer is their body language. They're looking out for other people as well. Like they look like they're on the defensive, but perhaps it's because of who they're looking for. They're looking in the direction away from your approach. So you're able to get close enough to recognize them without them. And it looks like they're armed and waiting as if they're expecting someone to jump out at them at any moment.
Okay,
so keep that in mind.
No surprises, no speaking really loudly.
But this is someone you do recognize.
Yes. Cool.
You'd see this, you recognize this loose mess of wavy hair anywhere. This is Santiago, one of your fellow crewmates who joined around the same time you did.
How do I want to say this? I wonder if there's like a... I don't want this person to shoot at me, so I might hum a little sea shanty that maybe only we're familiar with, like quietly, and then, you know, make it a little louder.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. You let the, 1 second. Excuse me. You let the music you're humming precede your approach, and someone paying attention, even if his eyes are trained elsewhere, that familiar tune makes his ears perk up, and he tilts his head slightly towards you, aware of your presence, but not to the point that he's drawing his weapon on you. The man turns his head slightly. You see his face. Got a very tiny mustache and a very thin beard.
Tiny mustache.
He addresses you in a hushed voice. Ay Dios mío, viejo. Sneaking up on me like that.
I gently let you know I was here. Huh. If you were really frightened, I'm pretty sure I'd have a hole in me. Unless, actually, I don't know if he has a gun or not. Maybe it's just a sword.
Let me check to see what he has right now. He does have a gun on him, but you're familiar with, the sort of rough loadout of most of the crew, right? You've been working together for a few years now, at least, or at least a couple years. Right? Actually, it was about 2 years we decided, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You've been working together for about 2 years, so you're familiar. While he does have his sword, the pistol he's holding in his hand isn't what you'd usually see him with.
I see. So newly required here. Perhaps.
Have you seen them? The soldiers picking their way up and down the beach?
No, that you're the first person I've seen. Well, besides the old man who gave me this new arm.
I caught one trying to restrain me while I was still pinned under debris. Don't think he notified anyone, but I'm sure they'll notice that he's missing sooner or later.
Yeesh! You got yourself in quite a pickle, didn't you?
I got myself out of a pickle, thank you. Also, what's that?
What, this?
Like, he was, like, looking for these soldiers that he's mentioning, but the more you talk, the more his attention's drawn towards you, and then he notices your arm. Yes, the claw. What happened? What happened to you?
Well, I got thrown overboard, and, well, not everybody, not every part of me stayed with me, if you catch my drift. This thing was, you know that old man?
Like, oof.
Yeah. I'm still mentally dealing with that. I'm sure it's gonna hit me later, but right now I have this new thing here. I had a nicer savior than whoever accosted you. They gave me this arm. I mean, it's better than not having one, I'll say.
I'd take a free arm over someone trying to bind me before I even gain consciousness. Looks like
you'd purposefully lose your arm. You take.
No. I didn't say I would lose my arm. I'd say I'd take an extra arm.
You just take it for extra arm. Who's giving out extra arms? That's
apparently
silly,
whoever found you.
Well, he graciously gave me his arm because he also has only one arm. So there's no more extra arms for you. You can't have it. It's mine.
We've washed up somewhere strange, haven't we? He looks at you at this mention of there was also someone missing an arm. He gave me his arm. Just looks at you, just something's wrong here. Look, so you washed up somewhere with someone who just happened to have an extra arm, handed it over. I washed up somewhere, and there are people specifically looking for people washing ashore to imprison and take somewhere.
Yes, well, probably best to avoid that. Did you see? I'm assuming you didn't see anybody else here washed up with you, huh?
No, I haven't seen anyone else yet. I don't remember. Like you can see him looking, trying to think back. The ship was still standing, last I remember. The main mast had taken a hit, but it hadn't fallen yet.
Well,
I don't remember being thrown overboard, though. We're too close to the storm. Whatever those storm waters must have done something to our heads.
Yeah, it's a little foggy to me too, but listen, if we are able to sneak a little bit, be quiet, lay down, we can probably at least, make way back to that old guy. Oh shoot, I already forgot his name. He said his name is Old Iron, right?
Yep.
Old Iron. He's friendly enough. He doesn't have any more free arms, but he probably will at least let us stay there for a bit until we recoup.
You know what? I'll take it. Let's get back to this strange arm-providing person. And he moves away from the bit of the rubble where he is and gets ready to follow you. And you, with your 18 from earlier, but with the fear, which allows me to make things more intense without taking away the fact that you succeeded, will allow you to notice that as he turns away, his constant vigil finally released. You see people moving up. So if we imagine that we're in this exact scenario, right, and he's hiding in this ship here that I'm pinging, up here on this ridge, away from where he was looking, or towards where he was looking, you see a handful of people moving with purpose perhaps like they've just found one of their comrades' bodies and are looking for who killed him. They're spreading out for the most part, but you see one person with there's several with rifles, but one with a rifle sets up here and is looking this way, scanning the coast.
I like push his head down like, Dios mío. They found the body and they're looking right at us.
You pushed his head down, so he's trying to push his head back up so he can see too, but you have his head, like, he's like, where can we
stay down,
I have
idiot.
a shot. I can take the shot.
There's one person with gun. We don't know how many more.
I would say you saw at least 4, but from the way they were moving, you wouldn't be surprised if there were more behind them.
Got it. It's your 1 gun versus their 4 guns. They haven't noticed us yet. So we probably should wait to instead of just taking them out.
Wait until
they're gonna know. They're gonna go. No, we're hiding here.
So what do you suggest exactly? Wait for them to walk on by?
No, but how many bullets do you have in that thing?
He checks it. It's Constellation 4, 7 shots.
We need some kind of distraction at some point. I think a dead guy falling is gonna be too much of a giveaway, but maybe you can hit something else to make it the distraction. Or I use my talon claw thing. I flex that. Maybe I can bring something short and they won't be able to notice. How? They would be able to notice something off. So how close is it to the picture? How would those guys from there get down to where we are over here?
They would probably need to use that we'll say it's not exactly the same, right? There probably isn't a rope or a bridge that was here at any point, but there is enough debris, and it looks like these people came prepared for the environment, right? They have rope. So while perhaps there's not the remains of a bridge, there is rocks and similar things that if they lashed a rope down, they'd be able to rappel down easily enough.
Got it.
Drop wise, it's not too far, but there is a little bit of a distance. But also, like you said, you have 1 gun, they might have multiple, so that when distance is at play, if you both know of each other. What?
There's 4 people with guns, but how many people total are there?
Sorry, I meant you saw 4 people total, and that from the way they were moving, you wouldn't be surprised if more were coming up the path behind them. As far as with rifles, you see 2 people with rifles. The other 2 are they have machetes out, and they're scraping through debris. It looks like up here as well, not pictured in the artwork, because no artwork is 100% what I'm looking for. There's debris that looks like it's already been sorted through. They've been through here before, but they're checking it right now to see if anyone's hiding between that. And then the other person with the rifle is facing the wrong direction, right? He's looking a different way. Only one is actively looking your way at the moment.
I see. So
it would take them a little bit to hop down, but it looks like they're moving this direction anyway, slowly.
So it's not right. So it's not like they're they'd have to all propel down to get where we are.
Mm-hmm. Or you suppose someone with a blade could make a risky jump into the water, because it won't ruin their gun if they fall in the water, or if they don't have a gun.
I'm going to pitch this plan to him. We might be able to give a little hint that someone might be down here, and as they all come down to investigate, we pick them off from top to bottom as they propel down.
Oh, I see. So you think lure them, but just enough that they don't all immediately rain lead upon us.
Yeah, that would be preferable.
Right, what do you think?
Do I know if this guy is a good shot or not?
As far as shots go, he's decent. He's more skilled at moving quickly and balancing, climbing, etc. than he is at shooting. But his shooting skills are not bad.
Okay. So, if you don't mess up, we can probably pick them off one by one. But if we miss, we're probably gonna need to make a run for it.
Okay.
How far are we from, like, getting away, I guess?
I think, it's a little bit abstract. I think to get over, like, the hill in the next ridge, we'll say it would be 2 or 3 combat rounds worth of running.
Oh, that's kind of far.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, keep in mind, there's potentially cover you can use, right? There's lots of debris everywhere. But, yeah, you should be able to see his character sheet now.
Okay, let me take a look.
Yep. But, essentially, he's, for those playing along at home, he's a rogue.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a
That's
rogue.
okay. So maybe.
Oh yeah, and I guess we never said what you were either.
Oh yeah, I am
warrior.
technically a warrior class.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a pirate though, but I don't know. There's no pirate class, so I am a warrior class. That's closest I've tried to take. So actually, building off that idea though, he makes the shots, right? If it goes poorly, maybe I am the only one who runs and he can cover me. So while they're distracted, trying to shoot at me, he can continue to try to pick them off.
Okay. Got it. Sounds good. So your plan is to make yourself the distraction if it doesn't go well.
Yes. Hopefully it goes well.
All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to place our tokens onto the map in a very loose, very loose setup, right? So we got the 2 of you here in this wreck. I'm going to place 2 sharpshooters, not to scale, up here on this other island. And then 2 other guys also up on this island, but we're putting them a little bit further away. They're not really farther. They're just kind of like in stuff. But this is our loose positioning of where everything is. So since this is a party-based tabletop RPG, while we could have just had you fly completely solo, instead you now have Santiago to support you, but you have the very fun responsibility of also rolling for him, so that way I'm not playing the game against myself. So he's now your character in terms of combat, etc. Feel free to make him take whatever risks you think it's appropriate, and we can it'll fit his character, right? But I'll continue to talk as him, but otherwise he's under your control.
All right, got it. I have his sheet up.
All right, so do you want to take a shot at the nearest sharpshooter?
Well, ideally I wanted to make some kind of signal that someone is down here, so they start climbing down, so hopefully we can shoot them while they're occupied trying to climb down.
Oh, okay.
Would that work, or does that not sound right?
Sure, but what it some kind of signal's a little bit vague. If you don't have any ideas, then I'll just have you roll a knowledge roll, and if that goes well, then we'll say that you think of something. But if you have a more specific idea, we can...
Well, I was thinking, like, maybe...
actually, maybe presence would be appropriate, because it's sort of like a deception.
Yeah, maybe. I was thinking, like, I would pull up a supporting plank from off...
Okay.
From nearby, and sort of, like, have something collapse near us, but not, like, directly by us.
Oh, yeah, and you can use your arm for that. Have it be further removed from you. All right, that sounds good. That sounds fair. I think for that, I think a finesse roll is what's most relevant here, right? Like, you're using precision. This isn't just about being fast. This is about being precise, to get the right thing in the right area without drawing attention back in your direction, right?
Yeah.
So give me a finesse roll. We'll say against an 11.
All right.
15 with another fear. So I continue to grow my collection of fear tokens, which I can spend, as I want later on. And I think the plan works, right? So you use your arm to cause something to collapse. There's the brief sway of the sharpshooter's rifle as he looks away from his scanning towards it. And you can hear the distant shouts between them. It's like, hey, basically like, hey, I think I saw something over there. And so what's going to happen is, instead of this sharpshooter coming down, the sharpshooter is going to stay up there and keep overwatch. And these two are going to start coming down.
No, I think that's perfect.
Okay.
As they come down, then we should shoot the first sharpshooter.
This guy here?
Yeah.
All right. So as they come down, let's have... So I guess... Yeah, I think that works.
Maybe he'll fall down on the mercenary as they're climbing down.
Yeah, maybe. It's like we're not quite in combat yet, but we might be about to enter it. So let's see. Santiago, make your... I guess, yes, this is it. We're going to be officially entering combat here. Whether you escape or not, or end up in a brawl. So I'm making up here in the top right, or top left, what we call the action tracker. So from here, this point out, right, I didn't count Niko's as in combat, because it was sort of like half avoiding, half setting it up. But from here on out, you and Santiago get to go as many times as you want until you either choose to stop, you fail completely, or you roll with fear. When that happens, then I, as the GM, get to go as many times as you went.
Oh, even rolling with fear stops the turn order?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, okay. That's... I don't remember that part when...
during our...
But that's probably better, honestly, with how often I'm rolling fear. I am a little, wary about going as many times as possible, but you know what? Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, so something for you to be aware of, just because it's a rules thing, and because this is a playtest, we want to be very transparent about rules, especially. I cannot use the same person more than once, unless they have a special trait that lets me, which is usually reserved for, big monsters or, solo creatures, etc. So most standard enemies will not be able to go more than once on my turn. But I can use extra turns or fear to activate special abilities the enemies might have.
Got it. And you already have two, so that's a little scary.
Yep, I already have
But I guess
two.
Santiago will make his first roll.
Right, so I drag a little Santiago into the sky to show there's one action. Yeah, so when he is hidden to make an attack, if you look under his class features hide, he gets advantage on the attack roll. So to do this, much like in our homebrew system, if you click on the finesse +2 part of his revolver, it'll pop up a little window.
Yes.
Right? Advantage, disadvantage. Hold on.
When I click on the +2 part, it doesn't open up.
What do you mean?
It's not opening. So you said to click on finesse +2 on the revolver?
Yeah, on the right of it, and underneath weapons and armor.
Yes, I'm clicking on it. It's not popping up. Nothing's popping up.
Is it hidden under the character sheet? It should.
I do not see it under the character sheet either.
Oh no.
Are you able to see it if you click on it?
Maybe, I'm gonna make you... Maybe I'll make you an owner, see if that... Try...
Wait, do I have to unlock first?
Close his character sheet and then open it again and see if...
Okay, I see it now. Great.
Alright, there you go. So click on where it says finesse +2. There's a spot for advantage, disadvantage, so you can put 1 into that. And if you have advantage, you also get an extra d8 to your damage roll. There's no way to automatically add that one, though, so you're just going to have to roll that manually if you hit.
Okay. Is this sort of like I won't know until you tell me if it hits or not?
Yes, I mean technically, so each creature has what's called a difficulty, which much like the difficulty of a regular check, that's what you need to do to hit them. There's no multiple defenses for enemies, right? Enemies are a little bit simple. When we get into damage and HP though, I think we talked about it a little bit before prior to streaming, but I'll go over that when you hit.
Okay, if I hit.
If you hit.
All right, clicking now.
All right. To hit.
Oh,
25. Is a 25 to hit. Only roll 2 damage, but you can roll an extra D8 for your damage.
Okay.
So roll that D8 and add it. 5. So that's a total of 7 damage. So the sharpshooters have a difficulty of 10 to hit. So that means you've certainly hit them. You've gotten a fear, which means I get a fear token, and the control is going to switch to me. So now I have 3 fear tokens. And now we actually apply the damage. So this is where it gets we get a little bit of extra steps. So 7 points of damage against a sharpshooter results in 2 hit points lost for that enemy, right? Basically how it works, and I'll just post these in the chat so you can see them, so the audience can see them. Every creature has this set of numbers. Oops. Yeah, where...
Off for a second.
Yeah, it zoomed in on my camera, which isn't exactly what I was looking to do, but every creature has this set of numbers, this difficulty, which is what you're looking at, and then a minor threshold, a major threshold, and a severe threshold. Those thresholds are the same for you. You can see them under your on your character sheets as well, right? So because this hit over their major but below the severe threshold, that means the sharpshooter takes 2 points of damage, which is not quite enough to kill the sharpshooter. And since
guns these days.
Yeah, and since you rolled with fear, that means it's my turn. So I should have switched into combat music. Yeah, as we are now fighting. So Santiago takes aim with the opportunity you've provided. These 2 mercenaries are about halfway down the cliffside, and he lands a pretty solid shot as this sharpshooter is looking towards the collapse, looking the wrong direction. The bullet, especially for this revolver he's got, like Constellation 4s are not known for being high quality weapons, but it strikes the sharpshooter square in the chest, sends him sprawling, but he manages to brace himself against the stone and has not completely fallen. Now, shooting, the sound alone would have given away at least your guy's rough location, but you do have some form of cover. So I think in this particular case, what I'm going to do for my turn is I'm going to activate the same sharpshooter that was just hit to fire a counter battery towards Santiago, right? He's going to look back, see through this half-wrecked ship, and try to hit. Now I'm going to give him disadvantage because of the cover, not for being hidden, because of the cover. I don't remember if that's by the books or not, but it feels right, so I'm just going to do that in the moment. And because I have just so much fear, I'm going to use the sharpshooter's special shot. So let's see what I can do here. So with this advantage, rolling with modifiers. So if you have your character sheet open, you want to compare this number, 12, to Santiago's evasion.
Okay, his evasion's 14.
His evasion's 14. So this hit, which would have dealt 18 points of damage, instead misses entirely.
Oh, thank God.
So Santiago gets the hit, sees that it doesn't quite land the way he wanted it to, right? Maybe it's a little bit low, it's a little bit wide, and instinctively starts to take cover. The counter barrage strikes the wooden plank just where he's now ducked, and sends it scattering into the ship with the 2 of you. And now it's back to the party's turn. Niko, what are you and Santiago doing now?
I think I can buy him a little more time by me coming out. And I'm gonna pretend. Actually, I'm not gonna fully come out. I'm gonna sort of peek my head back and forth and then pretend like I'm the one shooting, so they kind of go towards my side.
Oh, I see. So you're trying to draw their fire.
Yeah, they don't know there's two people yet, so
That's
I'm
true.
hoping that like at least one more turn, it will give Santiago like advantage again of still being hidden by drawing their attention to my side.
So how it would usually work is, I believe, let me open up his character sheet. When you move into a location where no enemies can see you, you are hidden. You are no longer hidden after you move or attack. So yeah, like I would argue he wouldn't be hidden by virtue just like, of ducking behind cover in the same spot again, right? They know where he is, etc. But with you popping out the other side, your distraction is essentially you... Like, you get two ways to do this. So one thing you can do is you have hope. Now, you may not have rolled with hope at all this entire game.
I have 2 hope.
But you start with 2.
Like, yeah.
At least I'm pretty sure you do. When we built characters in Demiplane, all of them started with 2 hope. So if that's wrong, we'll take it up with Demiplane. But so if you want to spend a hope, you can help him without making a roll. Your plan to just pop your head out will work. You don't have to roll anything. You don't risk giving up the turn order, and he'll have advantage on his shot. Right?
Yeah, I think I'd like to do that, just because he's the only one who's going to be able to attack right now, and he would have a sneak attack. So I think that's good. Yeah, I'll use that. 1 hope, just 1 hope.
Yep, 1 hope, and then you can have
I'll be down
Santiago
with
make his attack with
All right.
advantage again.
Okay, we'll do. Let's see. Okay, finesse. +1. Roll. 18.
18 is going to hit, and an 8
And another D1d8.
another D8. Even without it, 9 points of damage is enough to deal 2 hit points worth, and that will take out the sharpshooter. Who
Nice.
There's that quick exchange of gunfire, right? First, the collapse happens, drawing the sharpshooter's attention one way. Santiago shoots him, drawing his attention back the other. Then Niko's head pops up. He swings the rifle back, but before he can line up the sight against where Niko's head is, Santiago fires a second time, hits him. Oh, but it was another roll with fear. So I get my...
Jesus.
All right. So that means I get to go again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate...
The body fall on the mercenary.
If you had rolled with hope, I was thinking about it, but you hadn't. You rolled with fear, so...
I know, I was so fearful.
Yep. So it's just, the body's just going to crumple over by the rock where he was bracing. So I'm going to activate this mercenary here. Since I can only move 1 person, since you've only did... Like, spending a hope to help, I don't believe takes an action, right?
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to activate this mercenary, and because the mercenaries are pretty far distance, so I'm going to basically have the equivalent of double moving as his action, right? Like, his action is going to be move and then move again. He basically does the inverse to what you guys have. He's going to throw himself against the wall on the other side of the ship. Like, he's not trying to hide, right? He's trying to get to you guys and cover the distance between it. Like, you can probably even see parts of him through the holes of the ship. He is wearing a uniform, which you probably noticed when you saw them coming in, but now you're seeing it up close. Like, these groups are organized, though they're not any uniform that's like any major power that you're aware of, right? Like, it's not any nation's uniform or anything indicative of a faith. So it's a smaller group.
Okay. A bunch of nobodies.
Nobodies who at least have enough money to get matching clothes. So.
Yeah, fair. Okay. Is the double move just like the end of their turn?
Yes, that's all that person can do. And that means it's back to you two.
Okay. I don't think I need... I'm just looking over my domain cards. I don't think anything is gonna really necessarily help me there. Especially, I only have one hope, too. So, and there's only one guy. So I'm gonna just go in front of Santiago. Oh, so are there opportunity attacks in this game?
Don't. So the way it works is you get to move within close range, basically for free, quote unquote. Right? And when you move into melee, or you're trying to move, if you're trying to move out of melee, or if you're trying to move further than close range, you need to make a roll to do so. And whenever you need to make a roll to do something, that's when a token goes on the board. So, loosely speaking, unless I'm wrong, I'll do a quick Control F for opportunity attacks, or similar. No, I don't see a opportunity attack. So basically, unless you fail that agility challenge roll to move in a dangerous situation, there's no opportunity attacks. But if you're moving in a dangerous situation, that's a roll rather than just doing it for free. Right?
Okay, I sort of understand that. Regardless, I will get in front of Santiago and I will start fighting this mercenary. I'll tell him to work on the next mercenary while I take on the melee guys.
All right.
I'll cover you.
All right, sounds good. So you race out from cover to engage with this guy on the other side of the ship.
Yeah, and I will use my short sword.
All right.
Which I'm assuming I still have. We did not establish this earlier.
Yes, you still have your own sword. Yep.
Okay. So I'm just going to straight up roll.
Oh, and actually, read your class features, because something we've missed is that when you fail a roll with fear, actually, I guess you've only succeeded with fear. You haven't failed.
Yeah, I haven't failed yet.
Okay, never mind.
But I'll read it anyway. Are you looking at Call of the Brave?
Yeah, I was saying when you fail a roll with fear, you gain hope, so that's important to know.
Okay, that's cool.
And you also do have Battle Strategist, which means that when you physically hinder people with something that isn't a weapon attack, you can spend hope to have advantage, and you deal physical damage as well. So keep that in mind. That's an extra option you have. But yeah, you can hit some guy with a sword right now, though.
Yeah, I don't think I'll use that right now, but that is good to know.
All right.
Okay, come on.
All right. It is a 10 for 3. Oh, 1d10 plus 1, and you got a 3. And unfortunately,
but did I hit?
Unfortunately, a 3 does not hit the standard mercenary.
No.
Standard mercenary. I don't feel like keeping these numbers secret is particularly useful in this scenario. At least not for these first couple fights. So I'm just going to drop those.
Oh, this one's a 12 versus the sharpshooter that was 10.
Yep. These guys are a little bit more... maybe have a little bit more padded gear because they're ready for melee combat. You come out swinging, and as he had rushed up, knowing that there was a threat on the other side, you bursting out doesn't surprise him, and he's able to duck your strike, which collides... Oh wait, actually, so you did just fail with fear.
Oh yeah.
So you also gain a hope.
Gain hope. All right, I'm back to 2.
And I gain an extra fear, which raises me up to 4. All right. So he's going to, since we are having this little duel, and we're doing like an exchange, like one turn, with how often you're rolling with fear. We're gonna follow this little exchange. Niko, you rush out, swing. It shatters another piece of driftwood, and he's going to bring his blade up against you. That's a 16 to hit.
Oh no, my evasion's only 10.
Evasion's only 10, so you will take 9 points of damage, which
is a 1 HP. 1 HP, right?
Yeah, 9 points of damage is 1 HP, or your armor has 3 uses. The way armor works is armor has a value that you can decrease the damage by, the number of times is equal to your uses, right? So you could use one use of your armor to reduce the damage by 5, which would mean that you don't take HP damage. Instead, you take 1 stress. But it's up to you if you think that's worth it in this scenario, since you only get 3 uses of your armor.
How does healing work? Is it just like a long rest and you get an HP back? Oh wait, you can like choose, right? You can choose 2 things to recover, correct?
Yes, so during a short rest, I'll bring it up just so I have the exact rule here to quote to you. But during a short rest, you can pick 2 of 4 things, I believe. Yes, so your 4 things you can do are tend to your wounds, which heals 1d4 hit points. Clear stress, which heals 1d4 stress. Repair armor, which repairs 2 uses of armor. Or prepare, which basically is you getting ready for the challenges ahead and you gain a hope. Right?
I see. Okay, in that case, I think I will use up my armor.
Okay.
For this one.
Yeah, sounds good.
So I'll have a 2 here, and I'll have no damage.
Yeah, you lose 1 stress instead.
Wait, so it's not armor uses?
No, yeah, you use your armor, which reduces the damage from 5 to 4.
And have stress.
Yeah, and basically, yeah. So if it's lower than that lowest threshold, you take a stress. Yep.
Okay. All right.
All right. So now it's back to you 2 again.
Yes. Okay. So Santiago. Well, the sharpshooters haven't gone yet.
Right, because I can only do 1 thing when you only do 1 thing. So yeah. I've been keeping it. You know, whoever goes. Like, there's no rule, right? Like, I could just have the mercenaries stay climbing forever, but and just shoot at you until the gun guys die.
Yeah, I mean, I am really afraid of that mercenary or the sharpshooter, because if he does go, that's bad. But you might, the way things have been going, it might be 1-1-1. So it might be good to clear the mercenary below. Mm-hmm. But I saw what kind of damage the sharpshooter did, and I'm very afraid.
Yeah, and in world, I mean, certainly a machete is something to be afraid of. But a Coda rifle, like that's gonna deal some damage.
Yeah. I'm gonna have Santiago shoot at the sharpshooter.
Okay, sounds good.
Wait, does he not get? He doesn't get any.
Yeah, unfortunately now he's not hidden, and he doesn't have your help, so he's going to just be making a normal attack now. Let's see. He does have a special ability. Oh, his special ability is poorly edited. I'll fix that right now. But it's only at close range, so it doesn't matter.
Is it the rain of bullets?
Yeah.
Spend 2 hope to conjure throwing blades that strike enemy close to you. Okay, so yeah, it doesn't matter though.
Yeah, and the throwing blades is from when this was a rogue based on knives instead of a rogue based on gun and sword. So I just changed that to be shoot instead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna have him shoot. All right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, to reiterate, there's a lot of flavor changes, but most of the rules are the same. It's just, you know, swapping out crossbows for guns and etc. So.
Yeah. All right. Here we go.
All right.
19.
19 is going to hit. And 5 is enough to deal 2 points of damage to the sharpshooter.
Okay, chipping away at him. Oh wait, so how many bullets does he have now? He has like, what, 4?
Yeah, he's shot 3 times, so you'll be down to 4. And now, to be entirely clear, this isn't really a system where you track bullets, but I think for this first scenario, it makes sense. Okay. If you have the opportunity to loot these guys' bodies, you probably will be able to pick up enough bullets to not have to worry about tracking them.
Okay, well, I mean, if he does like another good hit, if he needs 2, that's fine, and then we'll be done with the sharpshooter, so that'd be good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
All right.
So he rolled with fear, so that means I do not go again.
That means you do not go again. Yep. And now, to be clear, if you had not rolled with fear, if you had succeeded with hope,
I'm always
Santiago could have just shot again. Right?
Yeah,
like, there's no rule that you have to swap between the 2 of them.
I would have done that, but unfortunately.
All right, so I think the sharpshooter, though they're hit, I think they're going to take the shot at Niko because Niko's out in the open, whereas Santiago's still in cover.
Okay.
And they are going to use their special shot because I just have so much fear that this game's giving me. In fact,
I'm afraid.
I have so much fear, I also need to check something real quick as
Do you
well.
have a cap?
Well, not so much a cap, but I believe you can either turn fear into action. Like, I can either turn fear into enemy actions, or vice versa. If I have enemy actions, I might be able to turn it into fear.
Ugh, that's not good for me.
Yeah, so I'm going to check real quick. Where is flow of combat, action tracker, activating adversaries. Should not activate the same adversaries twice. They can clear 2 tokens on the action tracker in exchange for 1 fear, or 1 fear for 2 extra turns. It's my turn now.
Oh god.
We're taking this shot at Niko.
All right.
So 21 to hit for 12 points of damage.
Oh no. All right. So that's 2 HP.
Unless you mark another armor to bring it down to 1 HP.
Wait. Hold on. So if I bring it down, it'll be 1 HP, right?
Yes, because
Yes,
marking
okay.
armor will decrease it by 5, which turns 12 into a 7, which puts it in the first threshold.
I'm just gonna have to do that. My clothes are tattered, but I look super sexy.
I mean, you haven't taken... You're hurt, and you're a little stressed, but you haven't taken that much damage, and you're doing a pretty good job both of distracting people and, not being shot to death. So, sure, we'll say sure.
Take it. Well, you're gonna go again, aren't you?
I am going to go again, but also it's important to note that this attack, if you open the description, which I'm also going to do on the stream
Disadvantage
viewer.
on agility rolls until they clear at least 1 marked HP. What does that mean?
It means until you heal, you have disadvantage on any roll that uses agility, which I believe
but I have
your
an ability that helps me with agility if I have hope, so...
Yes, okay,
Yeah.
there we go. I've opened it for the sake of the recording as well, though. I'm not sure how legible. It might be a little bit too tiny, but...
It's
Yeah,
alright.
so I'm going to put a marker on you just to denote that you are... We'll just put weakened.
Okay.
Denote that any agility rolls, and that does include your short sword, which is an agility weapon. You're going to have disadvantage on those attacks. All right, so now I'm going to... That was one of my... How many fear? That was one of my 5. I'm going to spend a...
Oh, God.
Now, granted, I want to hold on to some of these for later. I don't want to spend them all right now. But what I do think is it's a little bit silly that this second mercenary is still on the cliff. So I'm going to use...
Yeah.
So when I get a fear, I get to do 2 things, right? So I'm going to use my first one to have this mercenary come down, and then my second one to have the one that's been dueling with you swing at you again.
Oh, boy. All right. Okay, didn't hit.
That's a 5. All right, so now it's back to you 2. Mercenaries closing in.
They are. How? But also now I'm weakened with my biggest thing. And I don't feel very lucky. I don't think I'm gonna roll with hope.
Now don't
Can
forget.
Santiago move?
Yes, he can move.
Okay.
He can't move very far, right? Like he can
just
move within
like
close range, so range is a little bit abstract. So he can move basically a little bit.
Okay.
Something I will mention for you specifically is don't forget you have the ability Battle Strategist. When you make a roll to physically hinder a creature that is not a weapon attack, such as a shove, trip, or grapple, you can spend hope to have advantage, and you can deal 1d8 physical damage to the target. So while it might not be as powerful as your sword, you have other options, right? Like you can try to collapse debris on them, or use your grapple arm to fling something at them, right? Like you got other stuff. You can improvise weapons with this feature, right? And that could maybe use a different stat than the one that you have disadvantage on.
Okay.
But yeah,
So how about? I mean, they're kind of like all in my general area. Can I like pull some debris down to like, I don't know, hinder them in some way?
like
Like,
yeah, so like
we're in a broken ship, right? I'm sure there's like holes or like planks of wood above us. If I could like pull those down.
Yeah, so I believe you can only target one specific creature, but yes, you could basically like this, assuming this piece of ship is correct, right? You reach up, grab a chunk of it with the grapple arm and try to pull it down to, say, knock the enemy prone or something similar, right?
Yeah.
And if you like, you can basically, that would be a roll with finesse, I'd argue, right? Because you're trying to use your precision again to like reach up, grab it, and fling it in such a way to either conk him on the head or sweep his legs out from underneath him. And if you spend a hope, you can get advantage on that, and you would click on the little +1 and then put 1 for advantage if you want to spend the hope, or you can just make the roll without spending.
I did just get a hope back, so yeah, I'll do that. I'll put a advantage on my finesse, and hopefully that does something. 21 and
21.
Hope. I rolled with hope.
You roll with hope, so don't detract it because it's refunded.
Woo!
As can you also roll your D8 as well?
Yes. Oh.
2. All right, so 2 on this guy is enough to deal 1 HP worth of damage, but it's immediately clear that these guys are a little bit more sturdy than the others.
Yeah, that's
but
fair.
You are able to, I think the beam that you pull, well, not a beam, but you know, like the chunk of wood that you pull is large enough that even though it's not, it's rotted through, it's not that heavy, but it collides like with his shoulder and the side of his head and sends him crashing to the ground. It's not enough to pin him, but it is enough to knock him down for now, right? So he's gonna have to, you know, spend his movement getting back up. The question is, since you rolled with hope, you now get to decide, do you use Niko to follow up on that and strike the guy while he's down before he has a chance to get up? Or do you use Santiago to try to finish off the sharpshooter?
I'm gonna go Santiago again, because if he can get rid of the sharpshooter, he's gonna have advantage on the mercenaries since I'm in melee with them. So I think that just makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think he gets advantage, but he gets sneak attack, which
is, you know, it's good. It's something. Good. So yeah, I will do the revolver.
All right, take the shot. 17. And 3 damage is enough to deal 1 more health.
I think my thing ends. Nice. All right. Perfect.
You did roll with a fear, but that's okay.
I'm gonna have Santiago move farther then, just so they don't try to get any ideas.
Well, he can't move too far, but yeah, they're probably not gonna chase.
Okay, I just don't want him to. Yeah.
Yeah. No one can no one can circle Niko and hit him. Basically, he's still in the same vicinity as the rebel.
Oh well, I also forgot we're tracking bullets at least for this encounter, so maybe he needs to. I don't know. No, well,
he's used 4 so far. He has 3 shots left. If it comes to that, it comes to that.
Okay.
And now I have 2 activations.
Yes.
So I think I am going to spend 1 activation. Oh wait, and let me add to my fear. Actually, I'm gonna track this somewhere other than. I'm just gonna put this in my external notes because opening up a journal to do it every time, I really should have made something for it.
That's all right.
But yeah, I got 4 fear. So I'm going to have this mercenary get up as his move. I'll do a quick search just to see if there's anything special about prone. No, I don't see anything about prone, restrained. Okay, I do see there's a condition called restrained. Let me look at conditions real quick to see if there's any precedent I should be using. They cannot move until this thing is cleared. Vulnerable. Okay, so what that creature should have been is that creatures should have been vulnerable, right? Prone meant they were vulnerable, which means anything against them has advantage. So there's not like separate prone conditions or like prone, on fire, poisoned. It's like something's happening to you that makes it easier for people to harm you. Right, but he's able to get back up, ending the vulnerable, and then both this one and the other one are going to take swings at Niko. So here comes 2 swings. Ooh,
Okay,
14 and
hit.
14.
Oh boy. All right.
All right. So the first one only deals 1 point of damage. The second one would deal 2 unless you want to spend your last armor use.
Yeah, I'm just naked now. So,
If
0.
your pirate's coat's in tatters.
Yeah.
Right,
Hey, I just bought that.
And you take 2 hit points total.
Yeah, so 3. Do I get any stress? Or no, that's just only if it reduces to 0, right?
Yeah, and like I can... Yeah, if it's lower than your lowest threshold. So for you, 4 damage or lower deals stress instead of HP.
Okay.
And if your stress fills up, and then you would take stress, then you take HP damage.
Understood.
All right, and now it's going to be back to your turn.
Now back to me.
Yeah, I would... Like, I'm not trying to backseat, but don't forget, you also have special abilities. So keep those in mind as well.
Yeah, it's just... So Def Maneuvers is if I want to go anywhere far range, which I don't think I do at the moment. And Whirlwind is if I... Okay, you may spend a hope to use that roll against every other... See, this is good now because they're next to each other. So let's see. But I have to make a successful attack weapon first. So
And you do it. Now, don't forget about helping each other. You and Santiago have different pools of hope, right? So, like, yes. Santiago has his own 2 hope that he can also spend. And you guys can figure out how and if you want to coordinate those.
But really, he can only draw from his domain cards, right? Spend 2 hope to fire rapidly any enemies close to you. Make a finesse roll, and all targets that you succeed take D10 physical damage, which is nice.
Oh, don't forget, there's also generic things you can do with hope, like helping allies.
Oh, tell me more about that, because I don't know anything. I don't think that's on our sheet, right?
Yeah, so helping allies is what you did earlier when you made the distraction. Okay. Right, where you like poked your head out, and I'm like, you can either make a roll for it, or you can spend hope, and now he just has advantage, right? So like, if you can give me a narrative way that one of your characters can assist the other in a roll, all you have to do is spend the hope, and they get advantage. If you do not have the hope, you can certainly still try to assist them, but you just might need to roll.
Alright.
I'm not telling you should, I'm just... this is a new system, so I want to make sure we enumerate all of the options available to us.
Let's see. I don't know narratively how I can have it happen. I mean... Can he hide?
Can Santiago go hide? I think he can, if you wanted to move, like, to another piece of debris. Right? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, sorry, I accidentally muted myself. Yeah, I wanted... Like, does he have to roll, and if he fails, then that's like the turnover?
Let's see. When a creature is out of sight of all foes, it's considered hidden. Attacks cannot be made directly targeting them. It does not... Let me take a quick look at this hidden term. Always move to a location within close range. I'm just looking to see if you have to make a specific thing, because the way the rogue's worded, I feel like as long as he can conceivably make it to cover, he does not need to roll to become hidden.
Okay. Then that's good, and I would want to do that.
Yeah. Like, and as I've said, this isn't... The artwork doesn't match reality. There's more than just this one piece of debris, so he could make a dash for another piece of debris and be hidden there.
Yeah, I think that would be good.
All right.
I'd like him to do that.
All right, we'll just wiggle him over here, and we'll say that's.
Yeah. Let's see. The thing is, I'm just like, I'm afraid of failing and ending my turn because I just set something up for him, but
Right.
like it might be better for him to just try to do his attack now then.
Up to you.
If he attacks, does that mean his cover's blown?
Yeah, then he's no longer hidden.
Okay. Well, I think that's okay. How many times can I use my domain cards? As as much hope as I have. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so he has 2 hope. I'm gonna have him rain of bullets. The enemies are still considered close, right?
Yeah, we can say he's maybe a little bit closer than where I just put him. Like, he moves somewhere out. While those 2 guys are facing you, he gets to a different angle where you can line them up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, but if they're vulnerable, then they take an extra 2d10.
Yeah, and you have ways to make them vulnerable with your ability.
I know. Okay, wait, how do I exactly make them vulnerable with my ability, though?
That's your battle strategist. Basically, physically
I can
hindering
just say-
someone, right? Like knocking someone prone makes them vulnerable, right?
Okay, so
Let me see, does restraint
know.
also make them vulnerable?
grapple, I don't know if that's the same as... I would think restrain means that you're vulnerable.
When it says they cannot move until this condition is cleared, they can still take actions. I'll see. Does it say anything about grapple specifically? No. So like grapple is sort of a generic thing. I'd imagine it would work. I don't see anything specific. So
Okay.
well, we'll say that if your goal is to like grab onto someone and be like, "Hey, shoot this guy," right? Like maybe you dive and grab him by the legs, right? So you're still out of the way. I don't know. You tell me how you grapple someone while not be putting yourself in the line of fire.
I think maybe I like try to grapple with my arm, I guess.
Oh, with your grapple arm.
My grapple arm. And like sort of pin him towards the wall of the debris. So that I'm like within arm's length, you know, so I'm not in the line of fire, but sort of like, does that make sense?
Basically like use the rope to like pin the guy, right? Like shoot on the other side of him and then pull it against the wall.
I have rope. Is that what my arm is like?
Oh, it's like a
basically,
grapple, right? So it like shoots out and then comes back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that could work.
All right. Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't trying to change what you were suggesting, just making sure I understood. Yeah, I think that would be another finesse roll, right?
Okay. Oh, come on. Oh, 20 and with hope.
20 with hope. So you gain a hope. So don't forget to increment that. And you manage to. Which one were you making vulnerable? The one who's already hurt?
Yes.
Yeah, so you're able to, with the 2 of them around you, you wriggle your way, get your arm on part of the debris, get around on like a particularly sturdy part, get around him and pull, sort of drawing him up against a barrier where if he was on the other side, it'd be great cover, but he's not, so it isn't.
So, does that mean... so I'm using Battle Strategist to roll to hinder, which uses a hope. Oh, no, I can spend a hope to have advantage, which I didn't do. I just succeeded. And I can choose to deal 1d8 physical damage to the target, but does that also include my grapple arm, which still has like a 1d6 attack to it?
So, look at it like this. When you're using the grapple arm like this, you're using it as more of a tool, the same way you might use a machete to like break open a box or break down a door.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
But if your grapple arm does let you grab people and move them around, but that's its own separate attack where you roll it. Like if you open up the grapple arm card, you can see it has hook on a successful attack. You can pull the target towards you.
Right, that makes sense. So, but I do get to roll a 1d8 with my battle strategist from this.
Yes, you do get to do that.
So that's a 4.
That's a 4, which is enough to deal 1 point of damage to him. It's not a lot, but hey, you know what? It's something.
Well, get ready for Santiago's rain of bullets. So he's going to spend all his hope, his 2 hopes, and I has 0.
All right.
To rapidly fire at enemies close to you. So he's going to make 1 shot on the already hurt one and the other one on the not hurt one.
All right, so I believe you only roll once, though what's a little odd to me is that one of them you have advantage on the attack against.
Yeah.
So I'll say roll once, but then also roll an extra d6, and we'll add it to your attack against the one who's vulnerable. That sound fair?
Okay.
So just roll once first to start. And honestly, if you roll high enough, it might not matter.
Oh, man.
All right, so roll a d6.
Is this... Okay. This is the advantage part, right?
Yeah, this is the advantage part. 5. So that turns it into a 15 for the first guy, but only a 10 for the second guy. So it doesn't hit the second guy, but does hit the first guy, and he's vulnerable, so he takes 2d10.
Nice, okay.
So roll an extra d10.
Nice!
Alright. So that is 14 points of damage on this guy, which is enough to go above his severe threshold. So just to refresh for you and for anyone following along at home. So that deals 3 points of damage. So the guy you just restrained goes down from the barrage. Nice. So the second guy who you didn't restrain was able to see what you were setting up and duck out of the way, but the guy you pulled against the wall with the rope is riddled with bullets.
Yeah, with one bullet.
Yeah, you're right. It's riddled with bullet. I mean, this card is really written for not caring about ammunition in mind, sort of like the, hammering or feathering the hammer of a revolver, but that's okay.
Nice. And I also rolled with hope, so he gets 1 hope back, right?
He gets 1 hope back.
And I get to go again if I want to.
Yep, and you guys get to go again. So I'm adding, in our action tracker, we have a Niko and a Santiago now. All right, who's going? Niko, Santiago.
Niko should have some spotlight.
Yeah, go for it. Is he going to continue to use his grapple arm instead of his sword since he's impaired, or?
I mean, I am impaired means I have a disadvantage, right?
You have disadvantage on agility. Yep.
Disadvantage sucks. It would be better if I just had a minus or something.
Yeah, but you don't.
I mean, I know. Yeah, I know.
Oh, welcome, Hambone. Thank you for the raid.
Oh, thanks for the raid. We're on to the last guy. Yes. You know what? Let's see how well the short sword goes.
All right, while you're rolling that, a quick recap for anyone just joining. Our protagonist Niko has washed ashore on an island after a shipwreck. He's just reunited with one of his fellow crew members, and they're fighting off some uniformed mercenaries who seem intent on capturing them. Critical hit. 17 damage with the short sword.
70 damage!
Oh, so you didn't roll with disadvantage. But that's okay.
Sorry.
But that's okay because critical hits in the system only care about your d12s. Advantage or disadvantage wouldn't matter anyway.
Oh, that's true.
Yep.
Interesting.
So 17 points of damage is well over this guy's severe threshold. So, and the other thing is, you also gain a hope from the critical
hit.
So you deal 3 points of damage to this mercenary. He's just seen his last remaining ally gunned down, and then what does this blow look like? This strike look like, Niko?
Okay, so his buddy just got riddled with a bullet, single bullet.
Riddled with bullet, yes.
I throw his companion's dead body on him and shiv him, I guess.
Do you like to throw the body and then stab through it?
Yes, yeah.
Very nice.
I mean, it's not killing him, but it's pretty terrifying.
It's pretty terrifying, and it did hurt him a lot.
Yeah.
It's still your guys' go, so.
I'm so afraid.
Just finish him off before.
I know, right? I just gotta finish him off, and then it's fine. And he won't have 4 turns, or even more, because I have so many failures. Let's go. Let's do what this system is meant to do, and just keep going.
All right.
I think this system encourages like taking these risky. You know, like, oh, you hit really well. Keep going.
Hit really well again. Yeah. All right. So is that another Niko swing or?
Well, okay. So I just made that whole spiel, but I think I might specifically use battle strategist to try to impair him.
All right.
Like whatever it's called.
Yeah. What are you doing this time? Same strat as before?
So I think I'm kind of trying to use the dead body still, where like I just threw it on him and stabbed him through it. I'm gonna see if that can collapse on top of him, right? So he can't just move away from it. He gets like
basically throw it on him in a way that it's like it's more heavy than everything else.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah. So how do I roll this again?
So in this case, I think for using this body the way that you want to, I don't know if I think it probably is a strength roll. Right, you're basically like shoving him with the aid of the body.
Yeah.
Right? If you, oh no, I was gonna say if you spend a hope you can get advantage, but I don't think that's true. Oh wait, yes you do. You can with your ability.
Yeah, with my battle strategist, I will do that because I have a lot of hope right now. So
yeah, sounds good. Do it.
And is it just one? Is it just one hope? Yeah, just one hope. That's cheap.
So don't forget, click on the 0 for your strength and set a 1 to advantage.
Okay, I will do that. And I rolled with hope.
And you roll with hope, so you get your hope back, and you manage to impair him. He falls backwards, he's been stabbed through a body, and now the body is weighing him down.
And don't forget that 1d8.
Oh yeah, roll that 1d8, which is an 8.
Yes!
So you basically... How do you kill him with the corpse of his ally? How do you...
How do I kill someone with a corpse?
I assume you just like knock him back into some debris, and that's that. Or twist the machete on its way out.
Yeah, because so earlier I stabbed him through the dead body, and I think pushing him down and then twisting it and taking it out. So like the sword never left his body, right?
Right.
It just, big turn and pulled out and he's gone.
All right. So with that flourish, the last of these mercenary looking people falls. Now,
whew, that's scary.
Even though the combat music ends tentatively. Oh, I deleted the other person's token instead of marking them as dead. But even though the music ends, in the distance, people heard gunshots, right? Gunshots are not quiet. So you probably don't have a lot of time until someone, like you can hear shouting in the distance. You don't have a lot of time until people come this way.
I really wanted to loot the sharpshooters, but
Santiago's probably already running to it. It's like, I need more bullets. I'm not...
I mean, okay. I mean, I said one's really far away, so it's like, don't spend too long. We gotta go. I loot these mercenaries real quick. I really want their gear because my armor is trashed.
Right. You want like a different set of armor or something.
Well, I guess I can repair my armor though, right?
Yeah, you can repair your own armor when you take a rest.
Well, I'll take one piece of armor from them if possible, just in case. And what else do they got on them?
They just got machetes.
I gotta loot that body.
They got machetes. They got they have
loot that body now.
They have rope that's basically like preset to, like what Santiago was saying earlier, is they look like they were here prepared to take prisoners, right? Like they found him and were already getting ready to bind him. Like their rope is basically set up so that they can slide it on, pull, and then immediately have someone's hands bound, right? So they have that. But otherwise, they're not like heavily equipped, which indicates that wherever their base is probably isn't too far, right? Like they don't have rations or similar things. They're planning on heading home for lunch.
That's pretty bad. So if their base is close by, so yeah, quick. There's nothing on them. I take one piece of armor. I kind of scan the debris just in case there's more valuable things on the way running back to Old Iron's place.
Sure,
But otherwise I'm good.
Make an instinct roll, which is the equivalent of perception roll.
Okay. Oh.
Alright, a roll with a fear. So you do not... That's certainly not going to succeed. So
Wait, do you still have the fears from before and all my hopes?
Yes, you keep your hopes, and I still have all of my fears, which for anyone counting, that's 5 of them.
Oh no.
Yeah. Don't worry, some enemies have abilities that cost more than 1 fear, so it's not always like the sharpshooter who spends 1. Some things I'll get to spend more than 1 for even scarier powers.
No!
Well, that's alright. But you two are able to withdraw. I'm not going to make you roll to withdraw from here. You look, and I think rolling with fear, looking around, Niko, it's just like there's just too much going on. You're not able to sift through the remaining debris to see if there's anything else valuable.
Poo.
The two of you are able to retreat, and I assume you're going back to the Old Iron's cave, right?
Yeah, can you remind me of his real name again?
Hierro Viejo, which just means...
Can you spell that?
Yes, I can put it in chat for us.
Hierro.
I'll put it in chat for you in just a moment. Which, funnily enough, Santiago sometimes sarcastically calls you Viejo. It's a often derogatory way to refer to an old person. Like, old man. Right?
I'm just 1 year older than you!
He definitely started doing it to you when you started asserting your quote-unquote seniority.
Yes.
So, alright. I'll move us back to the cave. And by that I mean just the rain.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You make your way back in on the boat. Luckily, it's not too far to row, and no one crests the easlets that you can see that in order to follow you. So, make it back. Seems like you're safe. When you arrive, the crafter has switched over to some stoneworking, where he's like chiseling through some stone. He's in the same spot, the one that has this view that we're looking at, right? That's looking directly into the storm. He can hear your arrival back rather quickly, and with a friend.
Yeah, there goes that lucky, unlucky sort of streak I've been having. Found Santiago, but we did run into some trouble. And you probably can tell by me being slightly... Well, my pirate coat is tattered, and I look probably very sweaty.
Yeah, you got a little bit of blood from one of your wounds somewhere.
But he does notice that I am also even handsomer from being so battle-worn. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, okay. Yep. Oh. Yes, I've seen those soldiers moving up and down the coast before. They're aggressive. Luckily, they don't come this far. You should be safe to relax while you're here.
That's good.
Hopefully
you're not too... Huh?
I was gonna say, few people would dare get this close to the storm.
I see. So do they know about this location at all? Do they know about you?
He pauses his carving for a moment and gives it a consideration. I actually don't know. I don't try to hide, but I do avoid their side of the island. I was here first, but I picked a spot that people are unlikely to choose for themselves. So...
Well, that's good news. Santiago, this is Hierro, Santiago, and I sort of like catch him up onto like who he is and what we found, and they were trying to take prisoners.
And when you mention taking prisoners, Old Iron Hero Viejo will nod along. As I just said, I keep apart from them, but it's hard not to notice whatever darkness they're working on the other side of the island. I'm not surprised that they take prisoners for it.
You talking sacrifices or something?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Oof. Santiago, do you know of any more of our crews around here, or have you seen? No, you haven't seen the ship.
Only thing I've seen is your ugly face.
And I smack him up the head.
He goes to hit you back, but you're like currently like took a bullet for him, so he's like, all right, not this time.
Well, I don't want to deal with any of this mess, but I'm kind of stuck here. Our best bet is trying to find our ship, trying to make a signal, but that'll probably attract those ne'er-do-wells. And we're pirates, so it's pretty bad.
Look, when you say best bet is to set a signal, Hero Viejo would say you're going to have a hard time getting any signal into the sky that'll be visible against the storm. Even smoke will be either pulled in or dispersed.
But that's just here. There is the other part of the island. That's clear.
It's true.
You don't happen to have a telescope or whatchamacallit near around here, do you?
No.
Ugh.
If anything, those who stay in the manor on the other side of the island might, since they're always keeping their eye on the coast.
Manor?
Where those soldados are based out of.
Is that the name of the people who are trying to get us?
Oh, no, that was me slipping into soldiers in Spanish.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
So the soldiers have the manor, that's their base.
I've never seen them take a ship to the island, but I do know that they leave every so often.
What's the highest vantage point?
Santiago's like, wait a minute. If they're coming and going, even if this guy's never seen a ship, we're pirates. We should take the ship.
We should take the ship, but we're only 2 people!
2 really good pirates, though.
You're right about that. Those guys were kind of chumps. I pat my bullet wound.
I was like, oh, you need to get that looked at?
Yeah, I probably do. I have no idea actually, do I know what time it is?
Yeah, it's probably like midday at the moment.
I mean, I don't want to waste any daylight. Maybe we can scout out this mansion. See if we can see anything with just our plain old eyes without a telescope. With our non-special eyes. And see if we can make a plan for tomorrow.
If you want to head to the manor, your 2 choices, well, 3 choices I suppose, but one of them isn't a choice really, is to make your way along the islets that you just came from, which as you know are well patrolled, but they do have plenty of debris and detritus to work your way through. You could take my rowboat along the shore and be in plain sight of anyone looking at the water for the entire journey. Or you could take the mangrove swamp. It may not look it from here, but there is an island that disappears into the storm's edge. This is the same island that the manor is on. It's shaped like a crescent, sticks out from the water or from the storm on this side and on the other. The mangrove swamp is where it's most narrow, and even those soldiers wouldn't dare venture into it.
Because it's risky?
It's raining year-round. Yamoine and echoes there wouldn't care what time of year it is. But yes, it's supernatural abound, but I've managed a hunt or two there myself, and someone seems to be living there.
Someone, hopefully more like you, friendly.
I'd imagine so. I've found corpses of those soldiers in the mangroves before. Not ones killed by fang or claw, but by blade.
Well, any enemy of the soldiers is friends of ours, isn't that right, Santiago?
Unless they're a monster.
Unless they're a monster.
I don't know,
Well,
I've heard of echoes that have blades for hands.
what does that have to do with anything?
That a monster could inflict weapon wounds.
I'm
Not to
not-
contradict our
I see.
our very generous host, but he could just be wrong. It could just be a monster with blades for hands.
That is true, but probably better the blade-handed monster than guys with guns, because let me tell you, I got hit once and I don't want to be hit again by that. I saw what you did to those sharpshooters. You put holes in them.
Yep,
It's
bullets
damn
tend
scary.
to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't want that to happen to me. I'd rather try the blade. I'm leaning towards the swamp.
Oh,
Plus, there might be a person who would help us, and if there's someone who might, that's better than the other places where we know they definitely will
they
not.
definitely won't. Yeah. Like, look, the other way, they're already looking for us, so you're not going to hear any disagreement from me.
Well, when would the best time? Well, I am a little hurt. I'm not too hurt, but I'd rather be at full capacity. I think we can wait at least one day before.
You can take a short
Venturing.
rest, which is 1 hour.
And what does a short rest give me?
A short rest gives you your choice of 2. Actually, I think you can get multiple because Santiago is unharmed, right?
Yeah.
So during a short rest, each character can... Let me find it. Alright. During a short rest, each character can tend to their wounds, clear stress, repair armor, or prepare. And they can do 2 of these things. Characters can help each other as well.
Okay.
So, like, for example, if Niko wanted to tend to wounds and clear stress, Santiago could sew your armor, right?
That sounds great, and I want to do that.
Yeah, the only question is, do you want to double repair your armor? Because repairing armor only restores 2 uses. Or do you want to, like, double repair your armor and not clear stress? Or do you want to... I assume you want to at least heal your wounds and repair your armor
Yeah, I'll
once.
definitely...
Oh, wait.
Huh?
Yeah, actually, so you could do, you can clear stress and armor, and then Santiago can heal you in armor. So roll 2d4 in order.
Okay. All right.
First one's for HP, second one's for stress.
2d4. 4!
Alright, cool. So you heal 3 HP and 1 stress, just enough to bring you back to full.
Wonderful. Oops.
And then
Opposite.
And then you also can fully restore your armor with the 2 of you working together. Or, well, he can fully restore your armor while you revitalize yourself, right?
Awesome. That's good.
Yeah, there's... Even though
Good
this
thing you
is
didn't get
mostly a
hurt.
cave, it's actually a pretty nice... And it's really built into the natural flow of things. There's areas where there's, like, cool water that comes down that you can use to, like, wash your wounds and everything. And maybe it's your imagination, but it feels like it heals very well, like, when you use this water.
This guy's got a bougie cave.
Yeah. It's, like, covered in his, like, half-finished artwork, too.
Is it in like a cool way or a creepy way?
It's probably up to taste, right? Some of them are creepier than others, but I would say overall it's not like mega creepy, right? You got like plant carvings, you got people carvings that are probably on the creepier side because they're a little bit abstract. And anything a little bit abstract, human shaped and dim lighting by a storm is a little bit creepy. But,
That's true, yeah. It's all about the lighting, baby.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, then Great. We take that short rest. About how long is a short rest? Is it
an
like
hour.
more than an hour? It's
Yeah,
just an
it's
hour. Okay. All right. Well, we'll be heading out once again. Thank you, Hiato, and this probably might be the last time we see each other, but if it's not, I hope you'll treat us just as kindly as you have this entire time.
If you find the need to return, you are welcome here. Although if you bring trouble with you, you're expected to deal with it at the door.
Of course. Well, I don't think I need... Does he have supplies that might be useful to us? I mean, he offered the rowboat, but that's not...
That's more just a necessity than a supply, really.
Yeah. I don't... could we... I don't know, maybe we need rations, or... Maybe
I mean, he can give you,
spare-
he can give you, some dried fish or something for a day.
Okay.
Enough so that you won't starve if...
Yeah, I'm not
you're
sure
not
how the
back.
system wants to track food or whatever.
I don't think it's a huge concern unless that's you're on an adventuring leg, right? But maybe I'm wrong there. But for at least for the sake of this short game that we're playing, I don't think food tracking is going to be a huge concern.
Good, because I hate dealing with that. So let's just assume, if anything, I don't think we need anything special from him. So let us go.
All right. So the two of you will hop back in the rowboat.
Yes.
And we will head on over to the mangrove swamp.
My swamp.
I guess my question for you is, are you specifically seeking out the person that is allegedly here, or are you just trying to make your way to the others to cross it as efficiently as possible?
I feel like if there's a chance there's a person here, I'd like to meet them because they'll know a better layout of the land than we would aimlessly sort of going.
Okay, that makes sense.
Maybe can warn us about any creatures that, might be around too.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. So I think for this, I want you to roll. I want it to be more for... Well, I guess we'll just find out based on your success or not, right? This will be an instinct roll. Since there's the two of you, whoever you want to have roll it can roll it, and you can have the other one assist if they want to spend their hope. So feel free to look at that and figure that out.
Well, Santiago has only one hope, and he has a negative to instinct, so it's not like it can really help him. So I think I'm just gonna have Niko straight roll instinct.
Sure, that's fine. I think I'm looking for a 12. I think I'm looking for a 12.
I don't feel good about this one, but here we go.
9.
Yep. But I got hope.
But you got hope. So you get your hope, which I think puts you up at the full amount of hope. You're going through the swamp, which of course doesn't have as many boats here as it does in the artwork, pretty much just yours. Though you do notice the occasional wooden walkways that, under this constant rain, very much should have eroded a long time ago, right?
Sorry, does this fall under perseverance when I fail a roll that utilizes one of my experiences? I don't know if a swamp makes it that I can't use my Sailor of the Southern Seas at all. Maybe that doesn't count. I don't know.
So how it works is, to use an experience, you must justify before the roll how your experience would be helpful, and you have to spend the hope. So just spend a hope to use it. But yeah, so
okay, I'll
I was going to say basically next time, if you wanted to use that, just say in advance how you think it might be helpful. If we agree, you spend the hope.
Okay, I'll try to remember that for next time.
Yeah, sounds good. And I'd offer, because this is new, I would offer to do it retroactively, but it wouldn't make a difference in this case anyway. So since I wanted a 12 and you got a 9.
That's fine.
Yep. So moving through, it's not that you don't see signs of habitation or people. It's that what signs you do find are old, and there aren't, there's not much surrounding them, right? you find an old shack that someone looks like they were using as a place to stay, but probably weeks ago, if not longer, right? Later on, you find a little fishing platform that has like a box where someone could have kept bait, but whatever bait was in it has long since been cleared out or, turned into bugs that could escape, right?
You.
Yeah. You do feel like you've succeeded with hope, you got hope, and you feel like you're in the right direction, but whoever this is eluding you. They've made themselves intentionally hard to track. And it's as you guys are, doing this search that you're passing through the mangroves under some trees. It stops raining on you for a second. Now, there's trees above you, and the trees filter out most rain, but this is a little bit more solid, right? Something a little bigger. And you glance upwards, and above you in the tree is a very, very large frog. And it just looks down.
Like a natural frog, or is this a monster frog?
This is a monster frog.
No!
Oh yeah, and you can take off your status ailment because you healed health.
How do I?
I just took it off of you.
Oh, okay.
Alright. So
Where's this frog?
I'll drop it on in just a second.
There's a frog on a log in the bog in the middle of the swamp. There's a frog on a log on the bog in the middle of the swamp.
Alright. So
oh my god! There's a frog. Sorry, okay, I'm done.
It's okay, I was getting stuff out. You're allowed to sing. As long as it doesn't get copyright striked. But anyway, this is a rana grana. You've certainly seen them before. They're very common in like swampy regions. And they don't usually travel alone.
Oh no.
But you see the one at the moment. Since you failed with hope, I'm going to say that
I get extra hope for that, or no?
Well, you already got the hope, I assume.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Since you failed with hope, I'm not going to have it fully ambush you. This is sort of like a neutral, right? Like, you can't avoid this fight, but it doesn't fully get the drop on you either. Although you can see it, like it was poised, waiting for you guys to get underneath it, so it could, probably grab one of you. But you noticed it just a split second before it started to strike.
Okay. Well, I am going to... Okay, so I know that my grapple arm works as like a grapple, but can I also use it as like an arm to push away from something?
I don't believe so.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
We need to stop this boat from going underneath it. I'd like Santiago to start, actually both of us are just going to paddle like away from it basically, but very calmly, right? And just be like, we found you.
Oh, okay.
Your ambush doesn't work on us, so let's call it a draw, right? And you don't attack us, we're not getting under you.
You know what? I think I will allow this roll, even though I started the combat music. Now, it is going to be a difficult roll to make. Yamauina monsters like this, they tend to have a supernatural bloodlust for people, right? Like, it is a compelled hunger.
Right.
If this thing has eaten recently, for example, eaten like the corpse of a soldier who was dumped here by some other mystery person, then maybe it won't feel the need to go out of its way if it's already full, right?
Oh, how about this? I have deft maneuvers, and I can spend a hope to move anywhere within far range without making an agility roll. Will that help me at all to make this roll either smaller or like with advantage, anything?
You know what? I'd say we can make this roll with an advantage. How about that?
Okay.
Because I think what this is this is a presence roll, right? Because you're not really sneaking away. you're making eye contact, right?
Right.
Drawing your weapon, like having the glint of the metal, and being like, I see you, don't ambush us, we're not worth the effort, right?
Yeah.
So I think if you spend the hope from your deft maneuvers,
Okay.
I will give you instead advantage on your presence roll.
Yes, I'd like to do
I
that.
do think I'm going to need a higher number. Now, it is still a low-level campaign, so I think I'm only going to say a 15.
Okay. Oh!
21 with a critical success.
Woo!
All right, so that
Does
means
that mean
you
I
get
don't
your
get
hope
hope
back.
from that though?
Yeah,
Oh, I do get my hope back. Okay.
Yes, and also you decremented your stress instead of hope, but that's
Oh,
okay. I
my
just put it
bad.
back up.
Well, thank you. Okay.
So you make this eye contact with the creature. It stares at you. And as you're rowing quickly, your boat bumps gently as you like bump into another one that was under the water. And it also stares at you.
Wait. I thought I succeeded.
You succeeded.
Does that...
They're staring, but you just keep going.
Yes.
And going.
Okay. Wait. I just like with the glint of my sword, and I do that like around my neck, but like really wide, like this, and then just shake my head like nah.
All right, so the two of you managed to evade the two of them, at least for now. It looks like they watched where you went. You get the sense that you probably need to keep up your threatening facade if you want to avoid them ambushing you in the future, and probably don't want to linger too long if you can avoid it. So I think basically, I think this escape roll bought you another role to look for your person, right? You now know what threat's pursuing you, or you can choose to abandon the search for the person.
No, I still want to try to find this guy.
All right, so since you're looking for a second time, what I'm going to do is it's going to be the same thing, an instinct roll, but I'm going to lower it to an 11 since now you've looked in some places and found where it's not. And also because now the consequences of failure are higher because now you know what's following you and there may be additional problems if you fail with fear. So.
Well, it's about time I failed with fear, so.
Yeah.
Let's just try it.
Don't forget, you can spend hope from Santiago to have him assist you if you want.
Sure. He's not doing too well with his hope, but you know what? He'll get it back later. So what is it? An instinct or?
Yeah. So you deduct his hope, and that's instinct, and then you can just change that.
All right, I already deducted his hope, so now I'm gonna do. And this is a advantage roll then?
Yep, it's advantage with him helping you.
Okay. Cool.
It could also be flavored as him keeping extra. Oh, and you rolled with hope.
Oh, yeah. So does he get back the hope since I'm full, or
I don't
what?
believe so, since you were the one who was rolling. But I'll look real quick to see. Help action. Is it a help action? Give me 90 seconds to potentially find it, just to fully use the rules of this playtest. And if I can't find it, I'll figure it out later.
Okay, no problem. There was a frog on the bog. Sorry, I won't do that again. I don't have any more rhymes.
It's okay. Maps range movement. Use your resources. Chief among them is hope. You'll gain hope roughly every other time. Blah blah blah. All right, that's not what I'm looking for. Rolling hope and fear. Help an ally. Aid them. No, it doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it.
Okay.
I might be missing
that's fine.
it.
I do have a question about Santiago's experiences. You put fleetest feet in the fleet. Does that mean he's just like really fast?
I take that to mean as he's fast, he's sneaky, he's quick on his feet in all sorts of different ways, right?
Okay.
So it means, sprinting, also for like balancing on places too, if you need him like throw up on a catwalk.
Well, I already succeeded, I think.
Yes,
so
you already succeeded.
Yeah.
And I feel like this might be the one place it doesn't apply because he will be unable to use his feet while you are rowing a boat, unless you're planning to have him kick like he's a motor.
No, no, no.
All right. You find... I don't know if you can say you leave the Rana Grana behind, but you do find what seems to be a more actively lived-in hut. Now this area is raining. You're pretty close to the storm wall. You probably want to keep your coats up above you just to keep off the stormfall. But there is a light on, or like a fire going undercover in this area. And you smell food cooking, right?
Mm-hmm. You know, it's just occurring to me right now, I say to Santiago. Now, it's one thing to live near the storm walls, but what kind of crazy person lives in a active raining area?
He looks at you, looks back at the shack, looks back to you and says, "You waited until we could see them to have that thought in your head?"
Well, you didn't have it at all.
But it was your idea to come through the swamp.
Well, it's not my fault that I'm the only one who's coming up with ideas now, is it? I just like we do like a little slappy fight, and I'm like, it's fine. Let's just, he's gonna be friendly. I just know it.
But I assume you're not being particularly quiet as you tie up your boat near this little like on wooden stilts shack and
no, I mean we're not gonna be loud, but we'll just know tie our boat up and like I don't know, knock I suppose or whatever. Like,
well, so
hello?
they're kind of open, right? Like because of your proximity to the storm wall, the rain's coming down in a very predictable angle. So there's like wooden walls put up that block the rain. That way that the smoke doesn't like fill a shack, right? Like it still hits the angle and then goes up and out. So there's a couple of these slanted wooden stretches, one of which is being cooked under. Another one has convenient places for tying up a boat. And you see a person who has what looks like a bit of, or no, not a bit, has like a good chunk of crocodile cooking over the fire.
Ooh, gator.
It's a relatively, well, it is a fit-looking person, muscular, wearing one of those soldiers' uniforms as a poncho, right? Like it's been cut up and like used to shield against the rain. And she has a 7-scar necklace around her neck, as well as a bandaged arm and a pretty deep scar around it in a way that almost reminds you of your own, but it's missing the puncture wounds, right? But like she has it looks like her arm was nearly cut off sort of injury.
Got it. Hello? Miss, I suppose you wouldn't mind if 2 handsome strangers, or at least 1 handsome stranger, came to your door to ask for some help?
The temptation for me to have her say which one's the handsome one is very high.
I mean, that's perfectly fine.
I think she cocks an eyebrow at this approach. And yeah, she'll say exactly that. Which one's the handsome one? I don't know.
Anyway.
Yeah. I was going to say, I feel like neither you nor Santiago would be happy with that response.
It's like, well, you haven't. It's been a little hard time lately. I don't look my best right now. But anyway. Sorry, go on.
You don't have the look of the people of the manor, so you're more than welcome at my camp.
Oh, thank you. Tries to open the door. I'm assuming we can just like come in.
Yeah, like you just walk in. There's not really like a wall on this side. There is one that looks like it has full walls, probably for sleeping, but for the most part, these structures are open air, right? They just have like the slanted roof to keep the rain out.
Mm-hmm. So, no, Hi, my name is Niko. This is Santiago. And who do we have the pleasure of speaking to today?
Dawa, but you can just call me Dawa.
Dawa. Well.
Shipwrecked, I assume?
Yes, unfortunately. We managed to survive and dodge some of the, or rather, eliminate some of the soldiers on this island, and we're looking for a way to get off. When I say get off, I mean, just this island. Yeah. Well, anyway, I don't know if you know of an old man named Hierro Viejo, but he said there might be a person around here that could help us, and we're trying to find a way off this island. Possibly the manor might help us out, but the soldiers there are a bit of a problem.
Well, the biggest danger there isn't the soldiers. Not the biggest problem. It's not even their coward of a leader.
It's not?
No, they have a Telogian priestess with them. Custodian. And at that, the woman spits off to the side. And this woman is also very clearly Telogian, right? Like, she has the same necklace of that faith. But I think Niko, it's easy for Niko to understand that oftentimes the people might hate the most are the ones who have the nearest ideas to them that are just different in a critical way, right? But
right.
Yeah.
What's this Telogian priest like?
Powerful. She's a warrior, first and foremost. And if I'm correct, she's trying to figure out a way through the storm wall.
Way through the storm wall? And they need prisoners to do that?
That's how they're trying to do it. She goes back and forth for a second, like she is at many levels displeased with what she knows and also very unhappy about what she doesn't know about what's going on in there.
Mm-hmm.
They bring in a fresh group of people every couple of months. I tried to get in once to set them free, start a revolt, but they were able to repel me. Since then, they put up a wall, which, honestly, they don't patrol it well enough, but they do patrol it. It's been hard for me to have another attempt. But at least they're not crazy enough to come into the swamp after me. Not after what happened to them last time.
Ooh, and what happened to them last time?
I didn't have to do much at all.
Meaning?
It's very easy to kill people who aren't prepared to face the storm.
I see.
She'll gesture to the rain. You know the effect exposure can have on you, right?
What is exposure?
Exposure to the storm. And Niko would, of course, know these things as a sailor. If you get too close to the storm wall, like in the water, like if you get into the storm wall and you survive, very rare to survive first off, right?
That's right.
But if you do survive, there's a good chance you come out altered, and there's a good chance you come out with holes in your memory.
Well, that's not good. We have holes in our memory. Does that make me think about that at all?
Well, it makes you think that you're not physically altered in any way that you can't credit to the old man, right? Yeah. Which makes you feel like you probably were exposed in a low amount. Oh. Hopefully you're fine.
Oh, God. What about that wriggling I felt before? Was that just the plan, or now am I suspicious?
It was probably the plant. I'm not going to make you suspicious of something you... I mean, if you want to be suspicious anyway, you can be, but it's probably the plant.
Can I look around at this shack?
Mm-hmm.
My thought is that she doesn't like these guys, and she tried to do a revolt, didn't do it, but maybe she's looking for she'd join us. What kind of, like, attacker is this person?
You don't see any firearms, but she keeps a machete on her.
Okay, and she's, like, beefy, so...
Yeah, she's a fighter.
I see.
I think she would add, just like to continue fleshing out what she was saying before, there are pockets here in the mangrove swamp where if you don't know where you're going, the rain that falls is more saturated with storm than elsewhere. It was useful for leading them into a trap, but I don't think they'll fall for it again. You're lucky you didn't run into that on your way in.
Just lucky, I guess. We did run into some run-up granas, but we managed to save that fight for another day.
I try to keep them well fed.
Ah, so you're the one feeding them corpses.
It's lucky in a sense that the owner of the manor seems to have enough money to keep hiring replacements, but not enough money to hire competent ones.
That is lucky. Lucky for us.
Yeah.
So how long have you been here, though? Or have you just always been here and they came along and you decided they should stop whatever they're doing?
No, I've been here for half a year now, maybe a little longer. I'm hunting for that priestess. This isn't the first unethical experiment she's conducted to try to get through the storm wall. The Conclave wants her back for a trial.
And you're gonna bring her there, I'm assuming?
That's the goal, anyway. I haven't had much luck. I managed
your luck your luck might have changed because we are interested in going to the manor, and if this priestess is powerful as you say, or priest, is it priestess or priest? Priestess is as powerful as you say, then we need help, and you may need help. Perhaps there is a alliance that can be made.
She looks the two of you over. I've been here a while, and I've had my share of trying to liberate people from captivity. You two are the first to avoid being dragged in there within the first couple hours, so best chance I've seen in a long time.
And I'll have you know, our collective kill count is 4.
That's not bad.
And we've only been here today.
Yeah. Maybe we can double it before the day's over.
I like those. I like where you're thinking. So, what do you think?
I think we could work together. We just need to figure out our approach. And as she's saying that, she looks you both over like appraisingly, and then she notices your arm. Where did you get that?
Oh, well, Hierro Viejo, I mentioned earlier, he gave this to me. I ended up shipwrecked, lost my crew, and my arm, unfortunately.
Huh. This person make more of them? Because I've seen something like that before.
Have you now? Well, this person had a couple of different carved things. Can't say I saw too many arms. I already told Santiago here that this arm is taken and there were no extra. But perhaps he has made many different things.
I left it undisturbed. I thought it was a shrine of some sort. Well, best not to mess with spirits that one doesn't understand. But I don't know. Or she would be like, but it reminds me of what you have. That sort of arm, those markings at the base.
Can I look at the markings being like the dots that
the
I
dots
saw
that
before?
used to connect to you. And that would ignite the thought, if you find this, you might be able to get a swappable arm.
Ah, where did you see this? This shrine-like thing.
It is in a part of the forest that's both near the manor and under the reign of the storm, so it isn't the safest place to go to. You probably would want something sturdy to keep you dry.
And sorry, how far is it?
It's on the way to the manor, so...
Okay, it's on the way to the manor. Well, if we see an opportunity, perhaps there is a chance that I could check this out. I'm just getting used to it. It's working great so far. These plants, or whatever, really connect me to it. So I wouldn't mind checking it out. If there's time, of course. We need to focus on the thing at hand, though.
She would look at the two of you and then shrug. I mean, you're the one with a similar appendage. If you think it's worth the detour, I would trust you on that rather than myself. But if not, you won't hear me complaining about getting right to work.
Well, I am a novice when it comes to this, but yes, let's certainly seek it out unless it proves to be too dangerous, as we probably do need all our strength to take on the manor.
Right. Well, in that case, she can lead you guys there right now if you want. You can each take a chunk of roasted crocodile meat as well to snack on if you'd like.
I do want to ask if you want to keep going, or this might be a good place to stop. I can keep going for a little bit more, but I don't think we're going to finish the whole thing.
Yeah, we're definitely not going to finish the whole thing. Maybe we can do this little area with the arm.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, crocodile meat, can you tell me her name again? Can you put it in the chat?
Not only will I tell you her name, put it up, and I will also give you ownership of her character sheet.
Oh boy, just collecting all these character sheets.
Yeah, as I did say at the beginning, it is a party-based game, so I did want to give you recruitable party members.
No, I do like it. I feel like the character sheet is relatively simple.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that my screen is getting full.
Right. I tried to keep their cards relatively, or like their character sheets relatively simple. Like I didn't want to give them any of the crazier or more involved abilities, but just each character is another 5 abilities, even if they're simple ones, right? But to give a brief overview for both you and for anyone listening in, is that she's basically your paladin type archetype. She's the the guardian class, I believe. So she can touch someone to heal them once a long rest. She also has a separate ability to spend a few minutes and hope to heal people. So she has multiple ways of healing. And then she has a very high armor value.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. It's 9, so...
Yeah, her arm wrap gives her extra armor, and then she has heavier armor. But her evasion is very low. Her evasion's only a 7.
Yes, I saw that.
Yep. Yeah. That's her at a glance. And you can dive in, and I'll try to be the tutorial voice in your head if we need to.
Sounds good.
Yep. So you'll head out. You're going to be getting closer to the manor. It only takes like an hour and a half. Most of it's relatively safe. Or as safe as you can be in this mangrove forest, I suppose. And approaching the site that she mentioned, it is actually very similar to the sort of place that she was using as a campsite, right? These weirdly preserved wooden walkways lead to a similar shack, but on either side it like splits a path towards a particularly large mangrove tree, and you can see the arm I don't want to say like hanging from the tree because that makes it sound more ominous, but it's like in the branches and tied in a way that gives it some reverence, right? Like
Okay.
it looks very shrine-like.
So it does look like the stuff that he was carving, and does it seem
looks
like
very similar to his craftsmanship. Yeah, like stylistically, it's very similar to yours, although it is much bigger. Like it's bigger. Not in
Right.
terms of like you don't think it would fit, but like it's bulkier.
I see. So, excuse me. But there doesn't appear to be too much danger or anything around it right
Terrain
now.
here is exceptionally heavy.
Oh, I see. So is this one of those spots she said that might leave us altered?
Yeah, like this is a dangerous place to traverse. Now, granted,
Okay,
you
they're
have your
gonna-
coats you can put over yourselves, which is like the minimum you should be doing to protect yourself in this scenario, right?
Yeah.
You could pry up boards from the boardwalk and try to set something up like that. Really, you're able to throw together something haphazard. You're probably going to want to emphasize speed over anything else, which is
I
a
see.
little
Well,
bit
I do have my ability.
right. It does also conflict slightly with the idea that this is a place that looks like a place of reverence, right? So the idea of running in and grabbing something and running out,
Yeah.
will that go well? But it's up to you how you want.
How far can I reach with my hand, my grabby hand?
You could get you'd probably have to get 3/4 of the way there, right? Like, it's hard to show. And maybe maybe I can do this. Let's drag you guys here. Let's move this box. Let's move this box to the opposite side. Oh, actually, I'll move you somewhere else because stream can't see there. So I'll put you at the bottom instead.
Okay.
Right. And this is purely proportionally, right? Like we're not talking about in literal measurements or anything. But if we'll say the white is the tree and it's like right in front of the tree. So if you made it like this far, you'd be able to get there. Or like grapple hand it easily enough.
Okay. So I have my haphazard sort of coverage for going under there. I also have deft maneuvers where I can spend a hope to move anywhere within far range without making agility roll. So I'm not sure if you were gonna make me do an agility roll. And then I have my grappling arm, which I'm not directly touching. Maybe I can grab it without getting too far, and I can run right back.
Okay. And I assume you're just heading in yourself, right?
Yeah, I don't think there's a reason for the other two to come in with me if I'm just trying to grab a thing. But, if they see something wrong, I hope they will, come and help me.
So what I think is you can move up to here by spending your hope and using your ability. Then you're going to have to roll to grab the arm, and then we'll figure it out from there based on the results of your roll.
Can I also tie a rope to myself so they can pull me back if for some reason?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You can do that.
Okay. So I make it up to here.
Yeah. Spend your one hope to get up there without rolling.
Okay. So, 4. Okay. So now I am up there.
Ooh.
And I'm like using my grapple arm then, like.
Yep. Make a finesse roll. I'm just going to call it a simple 10 to grab it with the arm. Critical hit.
Oh, I'm lucky today.
You're lucky today, so you get your hope back. And you grab it. And as you grab it, you notice on either side of the path, blooming like flowers, are these ethereal-looking human hands. Like they sprout out of the marshes.
Oh no.
Like a dozen of them. And they're all on the side of the pathway. They're like a plant that's growing rapidly, right? You can see this ghostly purple-blue start growing upwards. And then as it buds, instead of turning into a flower, you can see the fingers instead.
I don't like that.
You got a critical success, though.
Yeah!
Which means you are more than welcome to just zoom right out.
I mean, why bother them, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm taking this. Thank you.
Yeah. Spend your thing, zoom right out.
Okay.
When you zoom, they almost sort of like collapse behind you. Like they were, like they move in towards you, but you're fast enough that they don't catch up to you.
Ooh.
But they like close on the path like this as you as you run. When they close, they all turn towards you. But where the rain gets less heavy, right? Like the rain gets very heavy in that specific area, they move forward and they just stop. So like they get a little bit closer and they just stop there.
I was about to say, get in the boat, get in the boat, get in the boat! Row! Row! I still don't like it. You know, they're not following us. I say, row, 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 row!
Yeah, you get in. You, Santiago, and Dawa get in. She takes a long time looking at them.
No.
Just like,
avert ye eyes!
No. I didn't used to see echoes like that here.
Are they like kind of special in any particular way?
Well, you know what echoes are, right?
Niko
I know, would know that echoes are...
I guess they're unique, right?
Yeah, echoes are basically unique, right? And they are ghosts formed by lingering human experiences, often lingering human traumas.
Oh.
They weren't here last time Dawa was here, and both she and Hero Viejo have mentioned something sinister happening at the manor.
Surely that has nothing to do with the many prisoners and corpses that show up. Surely not. Surely not.
And we will surely find out next time. No, actually, before we go, as we wrap up there, we didn't end up fighting there, which I thought was a decent possibility. I will give you your new arm.
Nice. I also want to say that this is part 1. We're doing a part 2 on Friday, and you should definitely just subscribe if you want to catch the next one.
It's following on Twitch, ends. But yes,
following on Twitch to see how this goes. This is pretty good. I was worried about the system initially, but I think it's pretty good so far. But let me, you're going to give me my arm. I'll let you talk about it.
So your arm is currently in your vault. And the way that works in this system, real quick aside to anyone that only works for you and me, is it's basically like your deck in our campaign. But basically your vault is all of your cards that you don't currently have access to, whether that's your domain cards or extra stuff. However, I've given you an extra domain card called Hoya's Prosthetics. Hoya not being the crafter, but the deity that crafter follows, right? Basically, this domain card gives you rules where you can switch your arm in and out. Basically, you can spend a hope to switch it instantly, or you can switch it during a short rest, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's a bunch of different things. We don't need to go in detail.
Okay, cool.
And then your new arm is the shield arm. So while you have that equipped, it boosts your armor, and when you move into melee with a target, you can spend hope to gain advantage on your attack roll against them, and if you do, you also deal an extra d8 damage.
Ooh.
So basically, like, it not only buffs your defense, but lets you do a charging attack. It lets you do a charging attack, right? So you have now your grapple arm for utility, and this one for rushing into a fight. And who knows, maybe there's more arms hidden around the island.
Oh my gosh, so many different arms for a one-shot.
I had fun making arms. It's fun. You give someone a prosthetic magical arm, and it's like, I want to make more.
I'll just have to start lopping limbs, I guess.
I don't think that'll work, but anyway, that will be where we call it today. And I think next time we'll just start with you guys approaching the manor. I think that sounds reasonable.
I think that's a perfect place to start the next session.
All right. Well, that's it for our lack of title Daggerheart playtest part 1. And we'll be back for part 2 next Friday. Same time, same place.
Yes, be sure to follow to get the update immediately that we are live. And feel free to follow any of our social media accounts. So links in the below is the description.
The links are below somewhere.
Yeah,
and
links below.
VOD for this will end up on YouTube, etc., etc., etc.
Okay.
So,
well, thank you for coming, everybody.
Yep. We hope you've enjoyed your time here at the library and hope you will visit again soon.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.